I want to start by thanking the organizers of this program, starting with Jerome. He reached out to me via a group, and then he told me this is what I want to do. And I was like, okay, and then we are here. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that came. You can see that I'm a bit nervous, so please, I'm doing this for the first time. So my name is Jude. I'm supposed to be using, so in case I'm not using this, just help me out. Yeah, my name is Jude. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Pay4Me App. And today I'm going to talking about how I built Pay4Me, how I grew Litehost to 6K in annual recurring revenue while I run Pay4Me. Okay, so I'm going to start by sharing my story, and I hope that I share it in a way that it's going to be easier for you to understand how I did it and how you can apply it to yourself or to your products. So that's me. In 2014 till 2016, I finished my 2 years diploma program from John Bosco. That was in the East. In that program, that's how I learned how to code. I learned how to use Java. Java was the programming language we learned there. And also I learned PHP by the side on my own accord. It wasn't part of the program, but it's a learning ground. So I learned everything. And then in 2017, January, I got my first job. So that's the office where I got the job. That's my working space. And I had to do something with that workspace. You're going to see later in the talk. But that was 2017, and a lot of things happened in 2017. That same 2017, I launched my first startup. That's my workspace from home. That's where I work from. That's my first computer I bought for myself. And we launched this Bible search application, right? Because we wanted to provide preachers and the people that are following them with scriptures with the ability for them to be able to find the scriptures they are talking about without them having to call the chapters, the verse, and all that. But it failed, right? We sold one for 2,000 naira and nobody agreed to buy again. So we moved on. So the same 2017, I joined HNG internship. At HNG internship, that's where I met. That's Trojan, a guy that built the pen. I think it failed. They returned the investors' money. But before that, he built what we call Pocket app now, and that's Abeg. This is ID. ID is the guy that is running Gray. He worked after our internship, we moved on. So this is where I built my network. That's my first network. It was the HNG internship. Most of the people, I don't have them on these pictures, but there are a lot of them. But that was 2017. Now in 2019, that was when I launched Litehost. I launched Litehost in 2019, December, on the 25th. That was when we went live. And on that same 25th, the server crashed. So I had to rework the whole server again. I think I borrowed like 6,000 naira from my mom because I finished spending all the money I had with the 50,000 I started with. So I borrowed 6,000 naira again, and I bought the domain that we are using now, which is the getlitehost.com. And I rebuilt everything, and then I launched again on the 26th of December, 2019. So 2020, I got my first customer. You can see the way I'm counting that money. And guess how much he paid for the first time? We launched in 2019, December, and then in January, we got our first customer for the whole of January, and the customer paid us 400 naira for the hosting. So that's the money I've been counting since that. Yeah. Now, in 2020, a lot of things happened in that 2020. That was when I met my co-founder. He's not a resident, or he doesn't reside in Nigeria. This picture is from 2022. I've worked with him out for 2 years before I got to meet him. So this picture is in Lagos, where I got to the airport and he came and picked me because he was on ground. But 2020, he recruited me as a full stack developer, and then we started out with agency, building agency, doing an agency, right? We were building out product for people and all that. And while we were doing that, we figured out, because he was an international student, we figured out there is a problem to solve for international students. They can't move their money easily without them having to go through bank, and the stress of going through bank and buying a bookie and going back to the bank to pay the school. It was a lot stressful. So we started Pay4Me. It was a WhatsApp group community that we transitioned into a mobile app. Currently, Pay4Me has processed over $9 million in transactions. But I'm not talking about Pay4Me today. Thank you. Thank you. So in 2022, we got into Techstars. Currently, Pay4Me is a Techstars-backed company. That's my co-founder over there in the yellow ribbon. I couldn't go. Village people came and made sure that I wasn't able to get my passport. So I was there in Nigeria. I attended remotely. I followed the whole Techstars program remotely. But then this was more like what made us realize that, okay, we are doing something here and it could be big. In 2024, that was last year. I'm trying to wrap up the Pay4Me story so I can move into what I want to talk about today. In 2024, these are the awards we got last year. The first one is the Startup of the Year award. We were awarded this at Boise, Idaho. And it was the governor of Boise that gave my co-founder this first award. Then the second award was in Alabama. We were awarded the most investable company in Alabama. I'm here in Nigeria. My boss is the one calling. But that's Pay4Me in 2024. So let me talk about Litehost. Remember, I told you that I launched Litehost in 2019, and we got our first customer in 2020. But that same 2020, we were able to do a transaction volume of over 530K. Then the next year, 2022, we doubled that and we did 1 million. Then in 2022, we doubled 2021 as we were growing at 2x. Then in 2023, we doubled 2022. But last year, we were able to double Litehost. We just made an increment of maybe 1 million, I think. That's what we were able to do with Litehost last year. And that's because I didn't do anything on Litehost. Literally. No ads, nothing, just recurring revenue, people that know you. And that's what I'm going to show you. And I was doing all this while running an engineering team at Pay4Me. Pay4Me has over 100,000 users, and we are doing a lot of volume. So I can't do this at the same time, but I had to do things that made me to be able to do this, to be able to have Litehost going on like this while I'm able to build the startup I built. So let's talk about how we can do this, how to build and scale your side hustle. Please, if the time is up, let me know. Choosing a product idea. This is the first part if you want to build your own product. You have to choose a product idea, and you already know you have to choose a product idea, but how do you go about it? So going back to my story, when I started out, that was the office. When I started out, I needed to host the software that I was building for the company I was working for. And most of those small companies that are coming up, you can't tell them to get into DigitalOcean. It's very much costly. So I had to do with what was given to me. It was cPanel. It was cPanel all the way. So, and I was building with Laravel. Now, it was very difficult for me to host these Laravel solutions on a cPanel because cPanel wasn't meant for it, just like the way you do cPanel with WordPress. It's very seamless, but it wasn't seamless for for Laravel. So I had to do something about it, right? I noticed that it was a recurring problem. I wrote about it on my blog and I published something about it and it was gaining traction. So I decided to go for it, right? I decided to solve the problem. That's how I chose. So even if nobody uses Litehost, right? At least for me, I was going to still use Litehost. It was a personal problem to me. So the feedback or the lesson from here is that you should try to solve your own problem. You should try to solve your own problem. Then the next one is building the first version. Now that you know what you want to build, you know the direction you want to go, how do you get the first version out? This is the most important part because a lot of people, after they have chosen their product idea, they never launch. And it's not good that you don't launch. You have to launch. And how do you launch? You have to keep it small. You have to engage with any pre-built solution that is available. So what did I do with Litehost? This is the first landing page of Litehost. This is our first landing page. If you want to see Litehost, you just go to getlitehost.com. That's our website. So this is our first landing page. And what I did was that I can't set up my own server for a start because I'm a host. I'm supposed to have my own server where I manage and share it and now sell to people. So I can't set up my own server. So what I did is that I became a reseller, right? Also, to build out the whole invoicing, payment collection, instant provisioning, there is already something out there that could do that. So I bought into that. And I used it to build this. And this landing page was more like, I think I used it to track something and scrapped it from from Team Prest. I think it's Team Prest or something, I don't know. Team Forest. Yeah, that's where I got this. So I got it for free and I put it out there. And this is the current landing page. So when we made some money, I was like, I want to give developers modern experience, right? So I went ahead and I went to the same Team Forest and I paid for these templates and put it out there and we'll be using it. Now, getting your first customer. After you build, you need somebody to buy from you. And it could be hard, right? Mine took over a month, right? Because we launched in the middle of, I think we launched on the 25th, and we launched on the 26th, and then we had to wait till January for us to get our first customer. So getting your first customer could be difficult, but I'm going to show you some of the things you can do that will help you to get your first customer. So this is my first customer. This is Emmanuel. Emmanuel is currently a senior backend developer at Pay4Me. But when he bought from me, I never knew him. We didn't have any contacts. But he was the guy that believed in what I was doing so much that he was ready to give me his 400 naira. So this is Emmanuel. So how was I able to do this? The first is that you have to network. And how do you network? You have to network through communities and through meetups. That's why you've done the right thing by being here. You could connect with the person that will give you your first customer. Why I show this picture is his name is Jude. Jude is currently the CEO of Vent Africa. Vent Africa is a crypto platform that allows you to convert your crypto to real naira. Most of us must really know Vent. So this is Jude. He's currently the CEO of the company, but this was when we organized the first Laravel meetup. So he was the guy that came and helped me with, I think this was another meetup, but he was the one that helped me to organize my first Laravel meetup in the East. And the reason why I put this picture here is that the customer that has the highest volume in transaction on my platform came from him. So he's my network. There are a lot of things we've done together, but most importantly for my business, he's very influential to my business. So, and it was through Meetup that I met him. That was the only place that we got to know each other. The next thing is community. So this is 2024. I don't know if for any of us have heard about PHP Talks. PHP Talks is where I met Jeremy. Jeremy, sorry, I'm using Igbo tongue to call it. Forgive me. So PHP Talks is where that's the community where we met each other. But this is Uyo, and that is me. And it was after my first Laravel meetup that I organized and brought in Laravel developers that, okay, we set up a WhatsApp community, and in that WhatsApp community, we started, like, people will ask, what hosting platform do you use? People on the platform that know me will post and tag me on those posts and post Litehost. So that was how people were coming in. Also, currently, we sponsor 2 versions of PHP. Litehost has sponsored 2 versions of PHP Talks community events. The last year own and last 2 years own. And I merged my community with the PHP Talks community. So currently it's one community, and we have like over 1,000 active developers. In a day, we have over 50 people being active online instantly. So that's the community. This is the real event. It happened last year. So community is important. Community is where I met Jerome. Community is where I met the person that recommended the highest paying customer on my platform. The first customer I had was from a friend who was part of this community. So it's from the PHP community. He recommended him, he told him, and then he went ahead and used my platform. So you see how much community ties into what we are doing. So I really appreciate what Jerome is doing with the community, and I think we'll continue to do more. Then the next one is articles. So you have to put yourself out there. This is very important because this was also how I got the money I used to build Litehost. Because I was working for a company, I finished integrating Paystack on their platform. That was where Paystack came in newly. So after I finished, I saw how easy it was. So what I did was, I wrote an article about it and I pushed it on Medium. You can still see it on Medium, how to integrate Paystack with HTML and CSS. If you browse it on Google, I think it should be first 3 results, it should be there. So I wrote that, and people started reaching out through that article, and they want me to integrate Paystack for them. But the thing about it is that the money I used to start Litehost, the 50,000 that came from Litehost, was because somebody that saw me online paid me 150K to build something, and then I used the money to start Litehost. So that was it. So then if you look at the articles here, they're about cPanel. I've been writing about cPanel, how to deploy to cPanel, how to build, deploy with GitHub Action on cPanel, literally everything. So I was supporting the company, so people know I'm here for them, I'm here to support what they are doing. So you need to publish a lot of articles. Also, currently, there is a Laravel News community website that is the official Laravel News website. So whenever I publish something, for me to reach more developers, I go to that website and submit a link of my article. And it gets shared to more people. That's how more people get to see me, right? And also when people search for anything that I'm ranking high on, because on my website, I have a call to action at the end of my website, stephenjude.me, that tells them that I have a hosting platform and these are the benefits they could get from it as Laravel developers. So this is how I was able to get people. I can't really say I can measure this, but I know it contributes a lot to how people reach out to me and ask me, can you give me your article about this? Then the last one I'm going to talk about is, I think it's second to the last one, is open source. Because I am a PHP developer, I'm building for developers, I have to contribute to the community. So this is my GitHub profile. Currently, I don't know if any of us know Filament PHP, but Filament PHP is like Laravel Nova, and it's super easy to use. I've published like 5 packages on 5 plugins, that's what we call it, on that and other things. And 2 of my packages have already been featured on the Laravel use on its own without my consent, and people get to know me. So this is how I build credibility. This is how people know that, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and all that. So the last one I'm going to talk about is art. And the reason why I have that picture there is that that's my sister. She's my co-founder. at Litehost. She's the one that runs ad, maintains the social and all that. She's the one, I don't know how to run ad. I've never run any ad in my life. But as at 2021, 2022, as at 2021, 2022, we were running ads. So we were running ads of maybe 500 naira, 1,000 in a week and all that, right? And we were getting people, especially on Facebook. So ads is important. You need to live like, I think our ads usually works very well on Facebook compared to other platforms because most developers people are still on Facebook, no matter what Twitter says. So the second to the last topic I'm going to mention, hope my time is not off. If it is, let me know. Okay. So the last one is scaling your products. So you are going to get big. And how will you know is that you can't just wake up overnight and add something new or something breaks overnight on your platform. It shows that if something breaks overnight on your platform and you are not getting called up and down, right, you probably have not grown. So I'm going to share a story. I'm going to share a story, and the story is about how our database. So it's two-part story. The first part is that as I continue to grow and get more customers, like I was selling over, I think I've sold over 200 to 300 cPanels, right? The problem was that I was no longer making much as I was supposed to be making because it's now the platform that is reselling to me is eating into the profits. So what I had to do was I had to go and buy my own server. I bought my first server by myself, installed everything, like nobody was managing it for me, and I moved to Namecheap. But then I got to the point where Namecheap became much more costly. The business was not adding up again. So I had to move it out, and currently I've moved to a new platform that the server is so cheap that the only thing I'm literally paying for is for the cPanel licenses. So you have to understand that your product is going to get bigger than you. It's either you get technical or you employ someone to do this. Personally, I'm technical. Currently, in my place of work, I'm still the one that manages the server. So this is me. This is lunch for me, right? So that's how you scale. Then the second part was that there was a night, I don't know what happened, but the database server crashed. So the database crashed. Everybody's database was down, and there was no backup. And it was so bad that the only thing I had was the database files from MySQL itself. So these are raw files that is only MySQL that can read it. And and it was so bad that people were calling me and saying, our school website is down and the students are closing. People were calling me the supermarket. Like, I realized at that point that a lot of people were using this platform and they were using it for real businesses. So it became very obvious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, but the thing about it is that it kind of made me to sit up. So what I did is I had to learn Python, and I had to use Python to extract those, because Python is the closest to a low-level language, right? I had to learn Python. I used Python, and I was able to recover over 95%, not all, but over 95% of the database, and my customers are happy, right? But this is the hard part of what we are doing, building product. You have to scale it when the need comes. Then the last one is supporting your product. You have to support your product. That's why I wrote support your product. I'm not trying to tell you how to support. I'm telling you that you should support your product. So supporting your product is the part that most of us don't think about when we start building softwares, when we start building products, not just softwares. And why I say this is that I've noticed that there are two things. I learned it from DHH, and it says that whenever you are supporting your product, there are two ends. There are two ends of a rope. So one rope that has two ends. Now, one end says this is not a big deal, and the other end says this is a big deal. Now, the thing about supporting your product is that you have a choice to pick one end of this rope. And if you pick the end that this is not a big deal, your customer is going to pick the end that this is a big deal. And if you pick the end that this is a big deal, your customer is going to pick the end that says this is not a big deal. So that's how it is support. So whenever somebody, even the person is saying, people have told me I'm going to sue you, I'm wait for my lawyer. I'll still apologize. I've never seen their lawyer even till now. But that's the thread I usually call. Do you know all the things? So I usually try to hold the end that this is a big deal. So that's the thing I can say about support. But the most important thing is that know that you are going to support your product is the most important part of your product. People will call you on phone, people will say bad things. You still have to maintain your cool. That's the only way to support your product. You maintain your cool, you keep fixing it, you keep finding solutions to it, and then you make sure that you maintain your cool. So that's that. Thank you. And then if there is any other, I think I can take questions now. Thank you.
My question is regarding your product. So when you mentioned about the issue of scaling up and stuff like that, I want to know if right now do you use cloud-based services, and if you use, like, how has it really helped your startup? And is it cheaper compared to hosting on the other traditional hosting services?
All right, thank you for that question. So currently at Pay4Me, it's just one server. I think we have like 64 gig RAM server. That's the server I'm using to run Litehost now. But the thing is, why you have to do that is that apart from it not meeting the requirement of the business, not adding up for the business, right? The other part of it is that you also need control. So if you have your own server, you have control. But if you don't have your own server, your provider or your reseller, whoever is giving you that, we can shut you down easily. Then I still use, like you asked, I still use cloud hosting, I still use DigitalOcean. Currently, we are using, for Litehost, we are using Hesna. I don't know if you know them, if I'm even calling it correctly, right? But their servers are super cheap, dedicated servers.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Onyekachi. I have two questions, and the first one is for Litehost. From your presentation, it seems like Pay4Me is making a lot of money and it has the attention. And since I'm conversant with cPanel and stuff like that, I know that most people that use cPanel are probably low-level developers, and they will tend to have more challenges. So how do you balance that stuff if you are not fully engaged? Do you have someone who was running the server for you, or you were running it?
Yeah, so when I started Litehost, it was just me. There was a point where I had to pay from my salary, right? I think as at 2021, I was still paying from my salary, right? But at 2022, Litehost was paying for itself, and I was able to get like 3 more people working on Litehost. So I had one technical support, a graphic designer that is not full-time, he just does it by the side, so it's mostly stipend and all that, right? And then I had this, my co-founder who runs ad for us. So that's how I maintain this. Currently, it's just me and my co-founder now, and I do support. Also, because there are junior devs that are there, right? That's why I wrote all the articles. Literally, when people come, I share my article with them. Like on my website, I've written a lot about cPanel. So I understand it so much. I know people are going to come asking questions. So I make provision upfront, and I use that to support myself. So I don't talk too much. I just share the article. If you can't understand the article, we'll keep trying to support as much as possible. But the truth about it is that cPanel is general. There are a lot of resources around cPanel. So most issues you will have, they're already there. So most time when people don't usually come with problems. The only problem people usually come with is maybe email server is not working as expected. Maybe they are not receiving email. These are the issues that come on board. It's not that show me how to host a website or all those kind of minute questions.
I have situations where I would be needed sometimes to make payment for people on the other side. So do you have something like a plugin or API that can just be used, just like you started Litehost, whereby you were doing like, would I call it like where you are using another service to run your service. Do you have options, something like that for Pay4Me?
Currently, no. Is it in the works? Yes. We have a lot of things going on. We are trying to build out the agency part of Pay4Me, where people that are agents that are helping international students procure scholarship, procure their school, things that are related to their traveling out, right? We have a platform where we want to get them onboarded, and then we give them a different access that will allow them to do, including what you just asked.
Good afternoon. My name is Jude Stephen. So my question is around business, because I am not a developer like most of you here, so I'm in the business aspect of my company. Okay, so you mentioned that Pay4Me currently has about 100,000 users. If I'm not mistaken. So I would like to know, at this point, it looks like the business has actually scaled. So you were able to tell us how exactly, what method and strategies you really deployed to get from maybe from your 0 to 1,000 or from 1,000 to 100,000 users, because most of us would really like to know that those strategies that you use. Thank you.
I'm not going to answer this fully. The reason being that I'm the CTO at Pay4Me. I'm the one that built it out to where it is now. But when it comes to user acquisition, like I said, I don't know how to run ads, right? But the one I knew how to do is, that's why you have to choose your product idea and solve the problem for yourself. Litehost is very personal to me because I have the same problem with my customers. So I know where to find my customers. I know how to find my customers. But for Pay4Me, I'm not the one that is running, that is making it grow. I'm not the one that is making Pay4Me grow.